In 2022, the original Heatherwood Hospital closed its doors after almost a century of treating both children and adults. In this video, we'll be taking a look at what remained at the site as of January 2023, and how these buildings, which saw the birth of new life, are now reaching their final days. Heatherwood Hospital was built in the early 1920s and was officially opened in May 1923 by the Duke of Connaught. However, the first patients were admitted a year before. The hospital was designed specifically to care for the children of servicemen from the First World War and treated various conditions such as tuberculosis. The hospital opened with just 3 wards, which were all used until the hospital's closure. Some of the wards, such as short stay, have been painted to look newer. However, some of the other children's wards appear much more dated. By 1937, the hospital was being managed by the London County Council and was now seen as a specialist hospital for children, and it had increased the number of beds to 250. During the Second World War, the hospital was used to look after adults who had been evacuated from London hospitals, and following the introduction of the NHS in 1948, Heatherwood went on to become a general hospital. In the following years, various new buildings were added and were all connected via a covered walkway. Some of the oldest equipment at the hospital can be found in the operating theatres.
Theatre 3 that you can see here has a lot of original decor. It's got quite a 1970s look, a lot of brown furnishings, but the coolest feature is these 2 big old lights behind us. They're absolutely massive and is quite an untouched part of the site.
Connected to the theatres are the recovery wards, where nurses would monitor the patient's progress. Patients who couldn't be cured might find themselves in this little building at the entrance to the hospital. The Mortuary. Up to 20 deceased adults could be stored in this fridge, alongside the bodies of infants. In 1965, the hospital chapel, St Luke's, was opened, following a fundraising campaign by the hospital's League of Friends. In 1972, the Haverwood Maternity unit opened, but before any real babies were born, the building was used in Carry On Matron as the fictional Finisham Hospital. Like other parts of the hospital, this building is also connected by external walkways. Inside, the maternity wards still remain on the upper floors. The lower levels of this building look newer and more spacious. So this is one of the newer parts of the hospital. As you can see, it looks really rather modern, especially in comparison to some of the old operating theatres that we saw. And it looks like, you know, with a little bit of a clean up, this could be used tomorrow. The special care baby unit was replaced with an X-ray machine in the 1990s, and an MRI scanner was added in 2005. There were some areas of the hospital where patients wouldn't have access, such as the laboratories, the administration offices, storerooms, workshops, and the boiler house. Since 2010, various wards at the hospital started to close, and in 2016 plans were announced for a new hospital to be built at the rear of the site, with the old buildings to be sold off, demolished, and new houses built. In 2019, construction of the new hospital started and was completed in March 2022 when the old buildings were closed, just 2 months away from the original hospital having treated patients for a century. As of March 2023, demolition was well underway, preparing the land for a new lease of life.